Ambassador Sarah Chen stood before the Galactic Ethics Council, her weathered hands clasped behind her back as she faced the semicircle of alien dignitaries. The chamber's crystalline walls hummed with translated whispers in dozens of languages, each species attempting to comprehend what they had just witnessed. "Impossible," hissed Zektar, the Velconian representative, his four eyes blinking in rapid succession. "Your species shows mercy to those who would destroy you? This is madness." The holographic displays still flickered with images from humanity's darkest and brightest moments. Concentration camps and liberation, slavery and abolition, war crimes and war tribunals. Sarah had spent 3 hours walking the council through human history, and now they sat in stunned silence. "You asked us to define mercy," Sarah said quietly, her voice carrying across the vast chamber. "We showed you our answer." Counselor Zerani of the Ethereal Dominion leaned forward, her gossamer wings trembling. "Ambassador Chen, your species' behavior defies all logical frameworks. You wage war against those who commit atrocities, yet you heal them afterward. You prosecute war criminals, then provide them legal defense. You rebuild the cities you destroyed. Where is the evolutionary advantage in such contradiction?" Sarah smiled, the expression that had become legendary among the council sessions. The humans always smiled before they delivered their most devastating truths. "That's where you're wrong, counselor. There is no contradiction. Mercy isn't weakness, it's the ultimate expression of strength." She gestured to the nearest display, which showed footage from the Nuremberg trials. "After the most horrific war in our history, we could have simply executed every enemy we captured. Instead, we gave them trials. We let them speak. We documented their crimes not just for punishment, but for history, for learning." "Inefficient," rumbled Korthak, the Titan Coalition's military commander. His scarred carapace gleamed under the chamber's artificial light. "My people would have eliminated such threats immediately. And that's why the Titan Coalition has been fighting the same border wars for 3,000 years, Sarah replied, her tone respectful but firm. "You eliminate threats, but you never eliminate the conditions that create them." She walked to another display, this one showing the Marshall Plan. "After we defeated Germany and Japan, we didn't leave them in ruins. We helped rebuild them. We turned our greatest enemies into our closest allies. Today, German and Japanese scientists work alongside American researchers on our greatest projects." The insectoid delegate from the hive clusters chittered nervously. Through her translator, her voice emerged as a synthetic whisper. "But the risk, Ambassador. Surely some of those you showed mercy to betrayed that trust." "Of course they did," Sarah acknowledged. "Mercy isn't naive. We don't show mercy because we expect it to always succeed. We show mercy because it's who we choose to be." She paused, letting that sink in before continuing. "Every species here has asked the same question. How did humanity expand from one small planet to become a galactic power in just 2 centuries? How did we unite dozens of fractured nation-states into a single world government? How did we achieve what took other species millennia?" The chamber fell silent. This was indeed the question that had brought them here. Not just to understand human mercy, but to understand human success. "The answer is in those history books," Sarah said, gesturing to the floating displays. "We learned that the strongest societies aren't built on the elimination of enemies, but on the transformation of enemies into allies. We discovered that mercy isn't just moral, it's practical." She activated another hologram, this one showing the integration of former Confederate states after the American Civil War, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in South Africa, the peace process in Northern Ireland. Every time we chose revenge over mercy, we perpetuated cycles of violence that lasted generations. Every time we chose mercy over revenge, we broke those cycles. We turned strength into wisdom. Zektar's scales rippled with agitation. "But your enemies, surely some were too dangerous, too committed to destruction to ever change?" "Some were," Sarah admitted. "But here's what we learned. Showing mercy to the irredeemable isn't about changing them. It's about changing ourselves. It's about proving that we're better than our worst impulses, stronger than our darkest moments." She activated the final display, showing humanity's expansion into space, former enemies working side by side in orbital stations, ex-terrorists becoming peacekeepers, war criminals' children becoming ambassadors. When other species encounter us, they don't see conquerors. They see the species that chose to be better than their history suggested they could be. They see a people who respond to cruelty with justice, to hatred with understanding, to despair with hope. Counselor Zerani's voice was barely audible, and that inspires them to join you rather than fight you. Exactly, Sarah nodded. Mercy multiplies strength. Every enemy we transform into an ally doubles our power. Every act of mercy sends a message across the galaxy. Humanity won't just defeat you, we'll give you the chance to become something better. Korthak leaned back in his massive chair. Your mercy isn't strategic. Our mercy is authentic, Sarah corrected. But authenticity doesn't mean stupidity. We show mercy because it's right, and because rightness in the long run is always the most practical choice. She looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes, or optical sensors, of each representative. That's why you're all here, isn't it? Not because you fear our weapons or our fleets, but because you want to understand how mercy became our greatest weapon. The silence stretched for long moments before Counselor Zerani spoke. Ambassador Chen, the ethereal dominion has been fighting a civil war for 60 years. Our rebels, they've done terrible things, but so have we in trying to stop them. Sarah's smile softened. Would you like to borrow some history books? As the session ended and the delegates filed out, Sarah remained behind, watching the last images fade from the displays. Tomorrow, she knew, several species would request humanitarian aid packages, peace negotiation assistance, and most importantly, copies of those human history books. Mercy, she reflected, really was the ultimate victory.